All right, welcome everybody on Zoom and Facebook Live. We're having another webinar this morning presented by Expert Media Matters. I want to introduce Martin Pea, who's the back-end IT guy, and he he put up his static photo, but it's St. Patrick's Day today, so happy St. Patrick's Day. Martin is wearing green, and do you see my green? Oh, there you go. So you see Martin's green shirt? You see my green shirt? Well, actually, here's my green. I don't have a green shirt, but here's my green right here. This is my lunch money, so I won't give it away. But welcome, one and all. This webinar is presented by national marketing expert Lance Luke. That's me. I'll be talking for about 30 minutes or so, giving you the rundown on things in the real world that happened to me, and it could help you. A lot of good advice. So the reason why we do this Ask the Expert series is to help small business owners and entrepreneurs build, manage, and market online. In addition to social media topics, we also bring to you general marketing topics and general business topics. And when I say general marketing, it's traditional marketing as well as social media marketing. So today's topic is business survival, the right people and strong communication. It's more about communication in business, and that's what we're going to discuss today. Now, the business survival, part of the survival aspect in business is communication and communicating with the right people. And at times it's a long and winding road to get to where you need to go. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes numerous visits with one client or customer to actually get that person to be a client or customer or that company. So it's actually been harder with the pandemic that happened about 2 years ago. And I'm not going to be talking really about the pandemic, but as you know, there's a lot of negative effects from the pandemic, and business owners had to pivot and kind of make a new strategy to what they had before. So basically, a lot of marketing techniques or things that companies use to market their business just changed overnight when the pandemic hit, including myself. So the idea is to communicate, not hibernate. And what happened when the pandemic hit, a lot of business owners couldn't go out and actually see face-to-face their potential clients or customers or their existing clients or customers. It was hard to contact these people if they couldn't meet in person. So they had to use various other means like telephone, email, text, and those sort of things. So the pivot is, it was not business as usual. And I'll give you my own business as an example. Now, a lot of what I do for my business marketing, and I have a social media marketing company that Martin and I own, but I also have a construction management company. And part of that business is managing large construction projects on mostly condominium buildings. And my marketing was to go out and meet potential clients, talk to them face to face, go out and look at their building, inspect the building, let them know, here's what I think, here's how I can help you, attend board meetings, visit property managers, and so forth. And everything was going good And then one day the pandemic hit, and guess what? I go to these offices and they're all closed, right? You can't go and visit them. And so uh, I'm thinking, now what do I do? Okay, I was also giving seminars, live seminars in person, workshops, seminars, presentations, talking about building and construction topics and that kind of thing. So because I was shut out, now I'm like, I can't do my marketing anymore. Now what do I do? So Martin and I sat down and brainstormed, and we came up with the idea that, look, if I can't go out to meet the people, why don't I just invite the people to come in, to my office and my domain. And how do we do this? We did it via webinars like the one you're watching now. So instead of doing, one or two live workshops or seminars per month, we decided to do 2 webinars per month and have people visit us. That way I'm still communicating with them. It's like, if I didn't do that, they wouldn't hear from me at all, except the email or newsletter or telephone call. So I didn't decide to say, woe is me. I can't market my business and my income is taking a dive. I decided to pivot, turn things around, and make things happen. And that's how this whole webinar series got started. Likewise, on the building and construction webinars, we also created a Ask Marketing Expert webinar series about social media marketing and business marketing and all that. So that's what I did, and that's a true personal story. And to this day, we're still doing webinars. We have, I think last year I gave 65 webinars, and this year we're probably poised to give that amount or even more. So, and it's been working. Based on the comments that we get, we know that it works, and we're continuing to do that. And we have webinars scheduled throughout the whole year on both the building, construction industry topics and also social media marketing topics. So your business would need to pivot from the pandemic. I know the pandemic seems to be winding down, and we can have our meetings and seminars live, so that's a good thing. But continue doing what you set out to do, and we're continuing to give webinars. So even when the pandemic's over, we're still going to be giving webinars because it works for us. So what do we have next? The other important thing is you associate with the right people. And how do you do that? Well, you kind of get a feeling that you like and trust that person, or if you don't, then maybe that's not the right person or a group of people to associate with. And I found this good cartoon, Charlie Brown and Snoopy, and the saying is, sometimes the most ordinary things could be made extraordinary simply by doing them with the right people. And Martin and I truly believe in that, because that's how the world works. That's in business culture. The right people will help you. And I'm not only talking about associate right people, I'm talking about clients and customers. If they're the right client and customer for you, better yet. If they're not, then there's going to be problems, right? So associate with the right people, and then better your communication. If your communication is really good right now, then I'm sure there's always room for improvement. And there's a lot of super salespeople or marketing people that are excellent in communicating. I mean, within the first 5 minutes of talking to them, you already can tell that they're on top of their game. And it doesn't matter if it's face to face or on the phone. you can kind of tell right away, hey, this person, really knows their stuff and they seem to be a good communicator. So as time goes on, you want to improve your communication skills, and I'll give you some tips on how to do that. So in the power of communication aspect, there's the workplace communication and there's a non-workplace communication. Non-workplace would be outside of your comfort zone, outside of your office, meeting with potential customers or clients, or even meeting with existing customers and clients to get them to continue to do business with you. So there's key points like relationship, value, success, loyalty, and those kind of things. There's also building your online presence, and I'll be talking more about that maybe in about 10 minutes or so. But the key to the communication aspect is face-to-face. Okay, so there's different ways to communicate, okay, with a existing client or customer or potential client and customer. And as you know, there's a face-to-face, which is, to me, the best form of communication. There's, as you know, telephone, there's video like FaceTime, Zoom, webinar. And, the webinar I'm giving is a perfect example because I'm actually communicating with you through this webinar on a Zoom platform, and we're also broadcasting live on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook Live, I'm communicating with you through Facebook, through that platform. Then there's also email, text, podcasting, blogs, even websites. That's another form of communication. Company brochures, advertising, and social media posts. Now, communication, whether when performed successfully, has a positive impact on your public persona and reputation. So when I say public means that even if you're communicating with somebody in your own office, or a client or customer in your own office, that's public. When you go outside of your domain, your office, and start talking to people outside of your office, then that's what I consider public. What people perceive you to be, and also your reputation. It doesn't matter what you do, what kind of business you're in, whether you're selling products or whether you're selling a service or offering a service, it doesn't matter. The communication basically applies to any of those situations. Okay, so for customers and clients, you need to create and maintain a good lasting relationship. Okay, and then of course, for a potential customer or client, you need to establish a new relationship, or a beginning of a relationship. Now, keep in mind that purely executed communication can present customers and clients with conflicting messages and tarnish your reputation. So in other words, you say one thing, but you do something else, or there's a confusion with what you're communicating or words you use or something like that. So you remember you learned about communication. There's one-way communication and a two-way communication. One-way communication is when the person is just talking to the other person and only one way. Like, for instance, in a company, your boss is talking to a worker and telling the worker what to do, and the worker is basically listening, and then they leave the situation. That's only one way. In that example, a two-way is when the boss talks to that person and then the person responds, and that's two-way because it's back and forth. Now, you take that example and you relate it to you as a business owner, small business owner, entrepreneur. talking to a potential client or customer, or an existing client or customer, and giving them some information, and that client or customer, relays something back or asks a question or something like that. So that's two-way, and you want a two-way conversation all the time. You don't want only one way, because then all you're doing is acting like a lecturer at a university classroom. Okay, the lecturer is just talking, and students are taking notes or falling asleep or whatever, and there's no two-way. It's just direct. And does it work? Well, maybe, but the best way is if students have questions and they can ask the teacher, ask the instructor, and then they go back and forth, and the instructor explains something. So that's better. So in the two-way, there's a sender and a receiver. So the person that's talking is a sender, and the person that's receiving that information is a receiver. So if you're a salesperson, like say you're going to buy a car, you go to the car lot, and there's a salesperson there, and that person's talking to you. Okay, so that salesperson is a sender, and you're the receiver. And when you get the information and you have questions, then you go back to that sender, and now you become the sender, and that salesperson becomes a receiver. So it's back and forth. That's the best type of communication. The worst type is just one person talking and the other person listening, and they may or may not get the message. Okay, so that's a key point. Now, there's some tips that I wanted to provide. Okay, so let's talk about 5 tips for effective business communication. And what are those 5 tips? Number 1, use the right platform for your message. And what is the right platform? The right platform is the platform that your clients and customers use. Okay, so if you're dealing with say elderly people, and you're servicing them, and they don't have they're not on social media, then if you use social media, they're not going to see it. So is that the right platform for your message? No, that's not. And if you're posting on social media, and you're dealing with, you have services or products that you're selling to millennials, and maybe they're not on social media and they're using text. So you got to figure who your audience is. Okay, once you figure out your target audience and what are their forms of communication. If you're emailing millennials, and the millennials aren't checking their email because that's not what they use, they're using text, is that going to work? No, not necessarily. Okay, so you have to try it out and see, and do a little bit research to see how you can better communicate and what kind of platform you're going to use. Okay, so number 2 is always consider your audience. Okay, if you can see the images, there's a speaker, and I guess he's a good speaker because the crowd looks riled up and excited, and it's a lot of activity, a lot of excitement. And then you look at the other seminar photo, the guy is kind of boring, and the speaker, and most of the people fell asleep. And that probably wasn't the right audience for the speaker, or maybe the speaker wasn't the right speaker. Okay, so if the speaker is boring, and then you're going to lose your audience, then that's not a good sign. See, so you have to have the right audience first, and then also the speaker has to be a good speaker and actually communicate properly and get the audience's attention. And when I say audience, it could be one person, or it could be a group of people. Okay, so let's move on. What's number 3? Number 3 is short, familiar words are better than long, unfamiliar ones. And you have a baby that says the word short is longer than the word long, um, which kind of makes sense. But then, there's several instances, and you've probably been there before, where you're talking to people and you kind of don't have a clue what they're saying. And you don't want to be put in that position if you're a business owner talking to a potential client or customer, and the customer doesn't know what you're talking about. And I'll give you an example, but this is not in a business context. It's more of a outside of business, like when talking to doctors, MDs, and they're using their medical terminology jargon, you don't know what they're saying. So is the communication good? No, because the person that's receiving the communication from the MD has no clue what the doctor's talking about. So that's not very good communication. I've been to seminars that were, the instructor was a PhD engineer, and he's using all these long engineering terms and phrases, and I'm an engineer, but I didn't even understand it. And I was at a table of 10 with 9 other engineers listening to, I think the topic was structural loads in high-rise buildings. And the guy was smart, but no one could understand what he was saying. So in that respect, the communication was really poor. So you have to be aware that the person on the other end has to be able to understand you. And it's not a case of, well, I'm going to show that I know my stuff, so I'm going to use these long words and terminology that's really construction terms, and act like I'm the great guru of construction, and I'm the contractor, and I go to the client's house and, okay, Martin, you're interested in renovating your house and making an addition. Okay, so I'm here to help you. What are you looking at? And Martin says, well, I want to extend the front part of my house, and I want to add on like a Ohana unit. Oh, okay, yeah, we can help you that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, use untreated lumber, and we're going to install the floor joists, maybe 16 inches on center, and we're going to have OSB board, and we're going to use 1.5-inch nails, but we're not using it by hand. We're going to use a pneumatic nail gun, and we're going to set it up real fast. I think you probably need a gable roof, and we'll install good asphalt shingles, maybe Architect 80, and we'll get you a 40-year warranty. And then so yeah, well, what do you think? And then Martin's going, well, what did you say after you said that I can help you? So you see, by acting smart and a know-it-all, it doesn't work in these kind of situations. See, so the words, keep track of your words. Okay, number 4, anticipate what questions may be asked and have your answers ready. The worst thing you want to do is go meet with a client and say, look, I have this latest product. This can help you save a lot of money. It's this new software program, easy. All you need to do is download it, and boom, it'll set up your whole contact list and email and all that. And the client goes, okay, good. Does it work with Windows 11? And you're like, yeah, probably. And you're not really sure. And then, oh, here's something else. How long is the warranty? Oh, well, let me check and find out. Yeah, that wasn't something that I was really worried about. So you see how that goes? You got to have your answers ready when they have questions. So you got to be ready. And if it's off the wall, you got to be ready for that, or say, you know what, I don't have the answer for that right now, but I'm willing to find out. Let me find out, and then I'll get back to you. But when you say that, you better get back to that person, because otherwise you're going to look like somebody who's not very responsible. Okay, so, and that happened to me 10 years ago. I was giving a seminar and there was 200 people there, and I gave my seminar and there was a Q&A, and I really liked the Q&A portion, because you never know, there could be 2 or 3 other people that have the same question, but one person was willing to raise his hand and ask the question. So somebody asked a question and I didn't know the answer. I said, well, I don't have the answer right now, but I'll get back to you. And they said, oh, okay, fair enough. And then, you know what happened? I forgot. I never got back to that person. And then a year later, I was giving another seminar, and I saw the person. I was in the back, greeting people before the seminar started, and that person came in and said, hey, yeah, I like your seminar last year, but you never got back to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. What was your question again? So I kind of, looked like an idiot to the guy. And I'm thinking, geez, I'm not really responsible because I never got back to him. But fortunately, he was a good guy. And I said, oh, you know what? If you have any questions at this seminar, please raise your hand and ask it. And I'll be sure to ask you. If I don't know the answer, I'll be sure to get back to you. And I promise I'll get back to you. Okay, so that's what you got to do. It doesn't matter if it's a seminar or a one-to-one meeting, an email, or phone conversation. If you don't know the answer and you tell the person you're going to get back to them, you better get back to them. Otherwise, they might not want to do business with you. They're going, hey, this person promised that they'll get back to me, and they never did. So I don't want to work with them. What if I need help and then they won't get back to me? See, so that's the mindset maybe of your potential customers and clients. Number 5, remember that 90% of communication is nonverbal. Okay, so be sure about your posture, gestures, facial expressions, and other nonverbal cues and communication. You already know, like, if you see a person, they're smiling and they're happy, or they're sad, or they have an angry face, or you look at their face and they look scared. You kind of get that idea, because you know how to read these facial expressions, and it's pretty much universal. Okay, let me tell you that there's one piece of data. Okay, and speaking about a target audience, okay, or any audience, okay. So if your reply is careless, and it could really damage your entire marketing campaign, and it could have a lasting negative impact on your business. So it's related to also your facial expression too. Now, if you're listening to your client ask questions, and you're like, your head's down, and it's resting on your hand, and you may nod your head like this, or what's worse is you fold your arms like this, and you lean back, and you kind of put a wall in front of you. That's not very friendly or inviting. So you probably know these cues already, but I'm just trying to reinforce that with you. Now, the other thing is maintain a strong online presence. Now we're talking about social media online, and online, I mean anything to do with your computer. So it encompasses email, or if you use your phone, text, anything that uses the platform. So social media posts mainly is what I'm talking about. So you really want to post often, and make your message heard, provided that you have a good message. If your message is crappy and no one wants to hear it, then you might as well not even make a post. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of what I have to say at this topic. Now, your free survival kit, the business survival kit is not like you're going hiking or camping and you take your own survival kit with a flashlight, water, first aid kit, and all that. Your business survival kit is important because it's survival for your business. And part of that kit, we're going to give you, because we like to give free stuff away. We're not giving away free money today, but we're giving you things that are useful that is probably better than free money. Okay, so before we get into that, I want to go over this EMM Lucky 7 tips for business survival. And I'll go briefly, and basically it's kind of confirming the things that we already talked about. Associate with the right people, better your communication, always consider your audience, use short familiar words rather than long familiar words or different jargon where the person won't understand you. Okay, anticipate what questions may be asked. That's very important. 90% of communication is nonverbal, and maintain a strong online presence. If you follow all these methods, and there's more, but this is like a 101 course. It's not getting into a lot of detailed stuff. But if you follow, these simple things for business survival, you can do better in your business. And, that's the message that I have for you today. Now, talk about free stuff. Well, before we get to that, we've been giving webinars for over a year now, and you've missed a whole bunch. And webinars that we gave before, how to become a celebrity expert in your field, branding, social media marketing. We gave probably 12 different webinars on different things. So although you missed a live version, you go to our website and you can watch it on demand. So you missed out live, but you still didn't miss the important information, because you can always get it. We put it online for you on our website, and I'll give you the website name a little later. So that's what you missed, but you didn't really miss it, because you can always watch it anytime and share it with your colleagues, family, friends, and then also what's coming up. And we have one webinar per month coming up in our series. And the next one is marketing success depends on effective public speaking. We have another one, social media marketing, do this, do that. Then video marketing, got video. Another interesting one is, are you in the news? Do press releases. We're going to talk about press releases, how to get free press releases, how to do a press release. And I'll give you examples of my own press releases. And then we have become the celebrity expert in your field, because you are. I did one last year on Get Known Now, become the celebrity expert in your field, which is kind of similar, but I got some new things to talk about. And then I got another one, write a book, give it away and make $150,000. And that's going to be interesting. And then another one is make money giving away free stuff. That's how every business starts. So we got these webinar topics listed, and the basic content is already done already, and that's how prepared we are. We spend a lot of time and energy putting these together and making our interesting PowerPoints and all that. So hopefully you'll join us for 1, 2, or more of those. That's what's coming up. And then now here's our free stuff. So get targeted prospects for your business for free. And we have a website. You can go to ultimatefreeleads.now.site. And these are actually free monthly leads. We're not selling you anything. We don't want your credit card or anything. So this is another freebie. Okay. If you want to buy leads, you can, but I don't think you need to. What else do we have? We got a free digital business card. You go to this site that's listed and you can set it up. And the digital business card is interesting because it's sort of like a one-page abbreviated web page or a landing page. So it's hard to give out your real business card online, right? So this is in lieu of your digital business card. I mean, your regular business card, it's a digital one, and you can even put a QR code if you want. And I mean, it's basically high tech. And what else? Because we're so generous, we're giving away our 2 business marketing books. And the topic is Promote Your Small Business Online Today to Survive. And the other one is The Ultimate Small Business Game Changer. Promote your business for $47 a month. We're not selling these books. We're giving it away free. And basically, the second book, The Ultimate Game Changer one, it's unlimited websites, hosting, blog, done for you, social media posts, and more for $47 a month. I'm not making a commercial out of this. You can go ahead and read the information and decide what you want to do. We're not hard selling people or anything. We just like to give information away. And if we think that we have a platform that can help you, then we'll be happy to talk to you more about it. Okay, so basically that wraps up the free stuff and free information and free stories in the real world that happened to me. And I'd like to take the opportunity now to thank you for attending and then open it up to Q&A. By the way, before I forget, if you go to askmarketingexperts.now.site, you go to that site and you can sign up for future webinars. You can go look at on-demand webinars that we've done before with the videos. You can get our free books. You know, it's all there for you. So I'm going to open it up to Q&A now and turn it over to Martin. So if you're on a Zoom platform, use the chat or Q&A feature. If you're on Facebook, you need to post to Facebook any questions or comments, and then we'll you know, take a look at that. So let me stop the share screen and wake Martin up. So Martin, are you there?
I am here, Lance. I am here. And
Okay,
we have
good.
a few good questions for you, I think, here that's come in. Let me hit you with the first one. It says, yep, you've given some good information. My question pertains to online communication, such as email, blogs, and social media posts. Is there a difference in communication protocol or strategy from face-to-face versus online? Good question.
Basically, oh, were you continuing?
No, that's a good question.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's pretty much the same, whether it's online or face-to-face. The protocol is the same. The only difference is if it's face-to-face, then, you know, there's non-verbal gestures and things like that you got to be aware of, which doesn't matter on an email, but you just got to be sure that you reread your email, because email can be taken the right way or the wrong way. If you're not conveying your message and the person that's receiving it gets a different impression, takes it the wrong way, it's not good. That's why I've seen a lot of email or text where the person gets upset at the other end, but that's not what the sender wanted, or the message, was different than what was to be expected. So anyway, it's basically the same things that I talked about, face to face or online. So I don't think there's really a big difference. You just gotta watch your manners, and just because you're hidden behind email, that doesn't mean you can do something different than if it was face to face. So the word usually is whatever you type in an email or text. If it's the same thing that you would tell that person in person, face to face, then you're okay. Because some people, face to face, I'm not gonna say these things, but in an email or text, yeah, I'll say that. No, it doesn't cut it like that. So just be aware of that. We got other questions?
Yes, Lance, here's another good one here. Is there a trick to switching from long words to short words as you've discussed?
Yeah, well, if you're the one speaking, the trick is don't use long words where the average person won't be able to understand it. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD and you went to 6 years additional medical school or engineering school, or you have your law degree and you specialize in 5 different things. Okay, you got all this experience, you got all this education, but you know what? If the person that you're talking to doesn't understand you, it doesn't matter. I rather talk to somebody that can make it simple and easy to understand than somebody that has all these degrees and education and experience, and then he's talking and I have no clue what he's talking about. That's not even good communication. That's bad communication. You got to be sure that the person understands you, because if they don't understand you, they in their mind it's clicked. They turn you off, right? And they're not even wanting to listen to whatever else you're saying. Or after you stop talking and you go, oh, do you have any questions? And the person doesn't have any. Do you know why? It's not because they don't have any questions for you. It's because they never understood you in the first place. So if they couldn't understand you, how are they going to come up with questions? Okay, so you got to be cognizant of that. And I see that time and time again. That's why when I help people, I tell them, you got to kind of dumb things down. Although, I really don't like to use that term. I like to, you kind of put your presentation on a lower level so that a 5th grader could understand it, and make it so that you're not kind of doing that on purpose so the person feels, why are you treating me like a kid? You're doing something so that the people could understand it. And I've been chastised before on seminars where engineers go, why are you talking down, like, couldn't you use like engineering terms? And yeah, I can use engineering terms, but guess what? The average layperson's not going to understand what I'm talking about. You can understand it because you're an engineer, but I'm not talking to you guys as an engineer. This is a seminar 101 on construction. So my job is to make sure everybody in the audience understands me. If they don't, guess what? I didn't do my job correctly. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm not using, engineering jargon and phrases. And the worst thing for me is to go up and I have a beautiful presentation, nice PowerPoint. I'm talking and people don't understand what I'm talking about because I'm going over their heads. You don't want to do that. And especially when you're talking about life insurance, mortgage brokerage stuff, real estate transactions, right? Tax information. It's so easy for professionals to be talking on one level here, but the client or customer is down here. And then what happens in between, right? They're all confused. So if your client or customer is confused, then you didn't do your job properly explaining stuff. Okay, so no matter what you're selling product or service or how difficult it is, you can always translate it and make it simpler. Okay. And, here's a good idea. If you can't do it by words, by text, come up with a cartoon or a sketch or a diagram. Stick figures and use color pencils and make it easy and say, okay, blah, 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 blah. I just told you about, how the Federal Reserve rates and the increase in mortgage interest rates has to do with helping control inflation, and going on, and you're like, getting dizzy from even listening to all that. And, what's better than having a little sketch or a color cartoon and say, hey, look at this. This explains what I'm talking about. Okay, so use any kind of tools you want. I've had situations where it was a complicated subject, and I brought toys in. I brought Lego. I brought dinosaur figures and explained. I said, okay, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is the government, and these little stick figures are the cavemen. This is what happened. So, and then they go, okay, I get it, right? So that was a long drawn out answer, but hopefully that put that question to rest. So any others?
Yes, Lance. Well, first of all, that's a good, simple and understandable answer. And that's like what you're saying. You got to keep it simple and understandable. So yeah, we get another question here. They're asking, how do I predict what questions the customer may ask? I am not a psychic. Oh.
Oh, we're not psychics either, right? But the answer to that would be, you put yourself in the customer or client's shoes, and what questions would they have? In fact, write out your presentation, type it out, write it out, and then your bullet points. Then you look at it, and then you read it, and then from there you go, okay, so from this statement I made, what possible questions would the client have about pertaining to this statement I made? Go down the list and then fill in the blanks. The other thing is ask some family or friend and do role play, saying, okay, Martin, my job is social media marketing, and I want to get clients, business owners that would need my services to make social media posts and have them get a better online presence on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and that kind of thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my spiel, and then you blast me with any questions that you may have. And you'd be surprised at some stuff you may not be able to answer when you do that. So try it. I mean, no matter what business you're in, what product or service, do that. And that's part of training. And the more you do it, the more you'll be able to answer the questions fast. And like I said before, if you don't know what the answer is, just be honest and say, I don't know. Don't give an answer. Don't make up something that's kind of a BS stuff. And later on, that person finds out that what you said isn't true. And I've had that happen to me. I wasn't the one that was giving a presentation. I was on the other side. And I asked a question, and the person gave me an answer. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And later on, I did research, and through research, I proved that what that person said was incorrect. And then, how does that make the situation where now I thought this person was an expert, but they gave me a BS answer? After that, I'm like, I don't really trust them anymore, because first of all, they shouldn't be making up an answer. And if they thought that that really was an answer, then they don't know their stuff. They don't know their business. So it's just, be careful, because there's so much stuff online. And where you're dealing with clients or customers and you give them a wrong answer, they can easily go online and find out and prove to you that you were BSing them. And then do you think you're going to look good to them? No, you're going to look really bad. So, and you don't want that, because once you look bad, that person's going, I don't want to do business with that guy. He's a BSer or whatever. So, okay, enough of that talk. We got any other questions?
Yes, Lance, we have one more here, but I just wanted to share, as you were saying, that something that I think you suggested when presenting is, and I did it myself, is sharing a short presentation or even a question with my wife or significant others, to really get the questions that they would have, because they don't know anything about what we're talking about sometimes, especially on the business side. So it helps to get a real lay uneducated person's perspective on this stuff. So that's a good recommendation. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, thanks for your input. I just thought of something. I was at a seminar, and this is really bad. This example I'm going to give you. I was at a seminar, and the guy had a PowerPoint, and his PowerPoint, he had like 62 slides, and the PowerPoints that he had, I don't know what type font size he used, but the whole slides were filled with text. And I was in the back and I couldn't read anything. And so that was bad already. But the guy actually went through his presentation, and somebody asked a question. And the person that asked the question, the speaker already covered it in his presentation. So in other words, the guy didn't have to ask the question if he was paying attention. Maybe he was paying attention, he didn't hear it, maybe he wasn't, or maybe he heard the information, but he didn't understand it. But anyway, so the guy raises his hand, asked the question, and the speaker said, I already gave you that answer, in my presentation. And then he goes, I'll show it to you. So he's going backwards in his PowerPoint trying to find the slide, right? He finds the slide and he goes, see there, I talked about this and it's right there on the screen. And I'm going, oh my goodness. So he's like defensive instead of like answering the question. Even if he already covered it, he shouldn't like make the person that asked the question feel bad, right? So that's wrong already. The other thing is he's wasting our time trying to find the PowerPoint with the answer. I don't, I'm in the audience. I don't need to see that. I wanted to say, hey, don't waste my time. I don't need you to prove anything. You already gave that information, fine. You said it already, fine. But it doesn't, it doesn't hurt to give the answer again, right? Or the information again. So then I'm thinking, shaking my head, I'm going, this guy's an idiot. I would never call him to give a seminar. I don't care how smart he is, because he doesn't treat the audience with respect. And even if and this happened to me, I gave my presentation and I gave the answer, and someone asked the question, but I don't go, hey, I already answered that already. Why don't you later on go and watch the video and listen to it? I don't do that. I'm respectful and say, okay, I'm pretty sure I covered it already, but here's the answer. And you want to be polite, you want to be smart about things, and you want to treat people with respect, because we respect and appreciate people who attend our seminars and attend our webinars. We're not going to talk down to them. We want people to come back, because if that happened, they're going, I don't want to even go on that guy's webinar. He treats us bad, talks down to us, and thinks we know everything. The reason why I'm taking the webinar is because I want to know this stuff, right? So, I mean, in addition to respecting people and appreciating people who attend our webinars, we always ask them, if you got any questions that come up after the webinar, or Yeah, it doesn't even need to pertain to the specific topic at hand, right? We're happy to talk to you and answer your questions and help you. We're not gonna charge you for that because that's part of what we want. We want to help the community. The more you know as a business owner to help your business, the better for us, right? If you choose to hire us and do business with us, fine, that's good, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to educate and help out. That's why we give our free books. You know, it took time and energy to create those books, and yeah, we could sell it. By the way, it's on Amazon. If instead of getting it free, if you want to actually pay for it, you can go to Amazon and order it, right? um, but we don't tell you to go on Amazon and order it. That's not what we're here for. So eventually, you know, when we need lunch money, we may start charging, but until then, no, we're just trying to help everybody out, especially small business owners, because we're small business owners ourselves and we know the struggle. The struggle is real. We got nailed from the pandemic, and now there's high gas, high inflation. Geez, what else can go wrong? A war is going on. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy. So, you know, for small business owners, everyone's struggling, and we just want to be here to help. So, appreciate your attendance, for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next one. And I know time's running off. So, any last comments, Martin, on Facebook? I know we didn't check that.
No, I checked here, nothing new. Yeah, nothing else has come through, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, good. So we can sign off, and on behalf of Martin and myself, we want to thank you for attending and encourage you to sign up for the next webinar, and also watch our previous webinars on demand that we already put up on our website. You don't need a Netflix account for that. It's all free. So we're going to sign off, and thank you for attending. See you at the next webinar. Aloha.